Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. It is episode number 140. Better said, is episode 140. And luckily, we have a guest in studio this evening. So that's two shows in a row. That's 2 weeks in a row. So two shows of ladies on the couch. I mean, if I'm not bringing in good-looking ladies, I don't know what else I'm doing here. I have to say. Yeah, killing it. As to say, hashtag killing it. I just feel that you guys have there's some kick-ass ladies in this field, in this arena of dirt bike racing, and I'm just glad that I'm friends with you. And I feel like I would like to have your knowledge as would the other viewers. So.
Well, hello.
Yeah, hi, this is Jordan. So for those who have no idea what you've turned into, sorry that you're here, but this is Seat Time. This is the online show for the off-road enthusiast. If you like beer drinking, bench racing, or just talking about Josh Strang's awesome hairdo, this is definitely going to be the show for you because luckily Josh Strang is even on. Yay! So Seat Time brought to you by the fine folks over at Fly Racing. You can check them out at flyracing.com. Stillwell Performance, making all of your squishy suck less. Stillwellperformance.com. It's pretty easy. KR Performance and their Arrive and Ride program. You can find out more about that at kr4performance.com. And, of course, the fine gentlemen and ladies over at Fast Company with their bitchin' flex bars and their Torque spoke wrench. Saying that fast, I've tried a couple times. The Torque spoke wrench, you will screw that up.
I'm quite impressed.
You still will want to buy one, regardless of how many times you say it wrong. But fastco.com is where you can find out more about those ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Seat Time, we're all over the place socially. You could just search for us, find us in those fun areas. But since this is a show, if you enjoy watching, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and that'll be a great way to catch the archives. If not, if you would just prefer to say, Brian's ugly, I only watch when he brings on the hot ladies, then audio might be the best bet. Stitcher or iTunes, you can search for Seat Time, but you want to do that as 2 words, not one. And you can even throw in a pint full of awesome there. That is still our tagline at heart. Obviously, I've been training. I know, I did drinking way too much water in all these episodes lately, but it's almost up. At the end of September, I'll be done training for the Baja Rally, and I can at least consume 2 to 3 adult beverages per show and make everybody jealous about being... of nothing, really. I mean, we're just on the internet talking and drinking beer. So, we do have a couple guests this evening. We have Jordon Bailey in studio. Jordan, how is your evening going?
Pretty well. I had school all day, so it's nice to be away from that.
Nice. Well, we're definitely going to talk about how awesome you are and the stuff that we did this past weekend with Mark's Weeks and Mark Weeks, not Mark's. There were more than one Mark.
But only one Mark Weeks.
That's true. And only one track that he put together for a race this weekend. So our guest this evening that we're going to chat to right now is Mr. Josh Strang, the Australian, 4th at the Australian 4-day Enduro. Recently, I want to say this past weekend, but it was not. But then 2nd overall at the Little Brown Jug Enduro this past weekend in South Carolina. Mr. Josh Strang, how is your evening going, kind sir?
Not too bad. A little better now. I'm looking at 2 good-looking people on the screen, but it's going all right.
2 good-looking people. I'm gonna make sure that everybody caught that because there are multiple times that ladies have come on this show and they're the only ones that get recognition.
But you look at your locks.
I mean, look at that mustache. I've been trying to grow my mustache for like a month now, and it's like not even close to that one. So.
Yeah, well,
not even close is an understatement.
You look like you're from Oklahoma, to be completely honest, with that little bit of that pussy duster that you're trying to achieve there. I got nothing going on there, man. I'm sorry. It's what goes on. What you need to do, maybe, I know that you wear, what is it, Virus, the compression that you wear? You might need to try to see if they have like a face compression thing.
Face compression?
And that might, at this point, try anything because
you'll have to look into it.
Yeah, you're really slacking big time. But we know that you're a fantastic dirt bike rider, and to be honest, we won't make fun of you for that because you do it really, really well. So let's just talk really quick. We're going to go more in depth, Australian 4-day Enduro and the National Enduro that just happened. But besides those 2 things, kind of what has your GNCC summer break looked like?
This year, summer break, not much. Some adult beverages, some country music concerts, which I enjoy, and then some bicycling, triathlons, lake time. I live close to Lake Norman here in North Carolina, and yeah, just a bunch of fun, really.
That sounds like the way to do it. Is that how you treated your summer breaks from GNCCs?
Yeah.
Some adult beverages, some
No.
lake time country music.
No.
No,
Not at all.
Look, you're
Sorry.
from Texas.
I'm
What is
from
the deal
Texas.
here? He's from Australia, living in North Carolina. How are you not following? How did you not follow suit with this?
I don't know. I just missed that whole thing, I guess.
That's okay. That's okay.
It happens.
So, country music festival or country music concerts. What was your favorite?
I don't know. There's a couple of them. I got to say Keith Urban. He's an Aussie, so I mean, you got to support your local,
I
your
can
hero.
Yeah, especially when
So-
their local is like local in the States from like what, an 18-hour plane flight.
No, so Keith Urban, Luke Bryan. I went to him. He's real good. There's a couple coming up. I don't know. It's just fun. It's a cool place. It's a good time to go, even if the singer sucks anyway. So.
Right. Yeah, I would imagine. I have not been to a lot of country shows, but I'd imagine it's kind of chill, relax, drink some beers, hang. I mean, you don't even have to have beers. But oh no,
Well,
am I wrong?
if you buy the cheap tickets and stand up on the lawn, you get to see a fair bit of crazy stuff go down. So, it's
So that's the way to go.
Yeah,
yeah.
sounds like
buy
Josh Strang and
buy
I need to
lawn
go to a
tickets.
concert together.
Go watch
Yeah,
the
we-
crazies.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I might be one of those. You never know.
It's like he's having some adult beverages, but since it's still got some racing to do, he can't become said crazy. But I don't know. Give it a couple years when he's not really on break and he's just out there having a good time. Josh
Yeah.
Strang and I might tear it up. Oh wait, we already did that. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. I'm excited though. I'm glad you did that. I think that it's very tough to kind of take it so serious, so compact, and then have this 3 to 4 month break where you're kind of like, well, I can't really go race every weekend because there's not races. It's super hot. What do I do? Let's have a good time. You don't need to get drunk every night. You need to still train, but having a few adult beverages, having a good time, I think kind of makes it a little bit easier to get back into it because you don't feel like you missed out on too much. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
On
No,
the-
it's good. I agree. It's all. I mean, I've been racing here now for this is my 8th year, I think, and I think like these last couple of years, I've figured out that you have to incorporate a lot more fun and relaxing into the racing side of things to keep the career going longer. I think so. And I'm getting old now. I'm like 26, so I can enjoy a beer or two one night a week, and I'm not going to freak out and have a meltdown because I think it's ruining my training,
Right.
I do it because I enjoy it and get to hang out with friends, and I mean, it's no big deal.
Yeah, and if you pick up a couple other Snapchat followers while you're out there at these country music concerts, hey, more power to them for getting your number, I guess. So transitioning kind of over to the 4-day, they're over there in Australia. Last year you were on a completely, you were riding a Kawasaki, and over there at Australia you rode a Suzuki, I think actually for the ISDE. So changing up the whole bike situation. What was that like for you this year? Now that you have a little bit of different program, were you still on a Yamaha, and what did that look like?
Yeah, well, I get support over here in the States now from Yamaha, and the Yamaha Australia have been super helpful. They gave me a bike in the end of last year when I first signed with Yamaha, and then they organised two 2015 450s already. So one of them's already been shipped to Argentina for the 6-day, and they had the other one prep for me at the 4-day. So, I mean, I've had as many brand new bikes in Australia as I have over here, and I mean, I've only been there for 4 weeks total, like signed with Yamaha. So, I mean, it's been real helpful. Those guys helped me out a bunch, and I had a Yamaha team back there help me during the week at the 4-day, and it was a lot easier than the last couple of years.
Wow. Any big differences being on that 15 versus the 14?
No, it was, as far as I could tell, it was pretty much all the same. A couple of little changes like they always do,
Right.
but nothing noticeable for sure anyway.
Well, you got 4th this year overall at the Australian 4-day Enduro, and that's also 4th in the E2 class. And the way it looks is actually like 1st through 6th in the E2 class was also 1st through 6th overall. And I know that typically the E2 class at the International 6-day Enduro is the most competitive class. I wanted to know if that typically directly translates as well in Australia. I mean, the results show it does. I just didn't know if this was an off year or if that's typically the most competitive class.
Yeah, I think it's the most competitive. Parts of me wish I would have had my 450 brought out to a 490 or something, and I'm maybe been able to win an E3 class or something like that. But I think most everyone in Australia is after an outright championship, not a class championship. But and I think the course this year at the 4 days suited a 450 more than a 250. The tests are a little bit faster, and but I mean Milner and Pricey and Hollis, all those guys are world class enduro riders anyway. So I mean it was a tough class anyway going back. I knew that going back. So I mean it was good to just go back and race. I hadn't raced there since 2007. So
yeah,
it was good to go back and race at home again.
Man. And you mentioned the fact with Chris Hollis and Toby Price and obviously Daniel Milner getting his third overall in a row there. I mean, that's kind of like a KTM Yamaha tossback because Chris Hollis was on KTM for a while, but he's back on Yamahas now. Milner on a Yamaha, you on a Yamaha, but Price on a KTM. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Typically, you would see the orange always on top, but Yamaha does a really good job in Australia, it seems.
Yeah, the Yamaha market in Australia, they sell a lot of their WR 450s because we can register them to ride on the road back there. And I think there's a big market in the trail ride and all that sort of stuff back home for Yamaha. And they put their off-road setups and teams are real solid. I mean, they're probably actually bigger than the KTM setups in Australia. And the brand pushes off-road racing at home a lot.
Yeah, that must
really cool
must make you happy.
That makes me very happy.
Yeah, our own Jordon Bailey here is a Yamaha rider through and through.
Yeah.
I might be able to get her on a KTM bicycle though.
I don't know. It says KTM on it.
That's true. It says PDS, which everybody seems to be all hot and bothered about in a good way, of course. We had a good question in the chat room. He said Zach Huberty from Innovation Off-Road was asking that he's heard that you are very particular about keeping a bike stock. Is there a reason behind it, or is that true?
I like to keep. I mean, all the manufacturers don't want to sell a bike that you have to change everything on.
Right.
Like the bikes come ready to race. Like they come. You can race them out of the box. Almost every brand, and I feel. When I was racing in Australia before I came here, my parents owned a motorcycle shop, and we had bikes, and I just rode them stock. And I think I got used to that and never had the luxury of testing and trying a bunch of other stuff. So I think I got used to riding something stock and getting used to how the bike worked rather than trying to change something. So there's things that I do like to change. Suspension now that I feel I can understand how the bike works a little more and feel the bike a little more. I think suspension is more important. Tires as well have problems with here and there, and but other than that, I mean, my bike, I could ride like the bike here in Australia at the 4-day was stock. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's just what I get used to.
Yeah, you're a run what you brung kind of guy.
Yeah, which sometimes doesn't work. Like the 4-day, I shot myself in the foot. I should have took my suspension from here. The last day where it started to get a little bit rough, my bike didn't work as good as the other boys, and I feel that was my fault. I probably should have packed the suspension up and tried to send it on the plane with me, but I didn't. So
yeah,
some things like that cost me a little bit.
What about you? On your Yamahas, kind of stuff did you change? I mean, I think suspension for you guys at this level is pretty much like a given, but
yeah, suspension for me, it's because I'm so light that it will definitely beat me up.
It's like you just couldn't find small enough springs.
No, I run the lightest springs, and then we have to valve it like crazy to get it light enough because it still just won't move with me on it. So suspension's a big thing. Tires, change my bars. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I change everything. Because I don't have a clue what I'm doing. It just makes more sense for me to act like I've got shit, that I just need to do. So that's always fun. I'm kidding. No, I'm not a good tester. I have no clue what I would change. So, yeah, I run it the way that KTM sells it to me. So I'm like, can I have my suspension done? Because I like that. After that, I don't know. So there were a lot of GNCC guys. I say a lot. There were way more untypical names at the Enduro this past weekend. The National Enduro, the Little Brown Jug, Union, South Carolina, part of Big Buck for the GNCC, and then some of the other private land around that area. And you came out there and did fantastic. Second overall. I mean, and really, with that last test win, you were pretty much trying to get an overall. It seemed like get a win there. I mean, tell us about why do you think were a lot of people getting ready for Unadilla just to kind of get back in race mode, or did people just want to ride?
Yeah, I think it was partly that, and it was close to a bunch of guys down here. Like Wibbs lives close to where the race was. I was only 2 hours away, and Caleb was only 3 hours away. So I think it was just the race was close to where everyone's living and trying to get back into racing and that sort of stuff. So we kind of, it was last minute for me to turn up and race. It worked out well. I broke in a new race bike, and the result was pretty good too. So in the end, I think I was 40 seconds down going into the last test, and got to 8 seconds. So I was surprised with how well I did, but I was happy also. I had a blast racing on the weekend.
Yeah.
8 seconds, is that what you said you lost by?
Yeah, I think it was 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really close.
Yeah.
Well, when I got second, I was happy I got second, but after realizing it was only 8 seconds, I was mad.
Yeah,
So.
I can imagine. Now that you've done a national enduro, what are your thoughts, and do you have any suggestions?
I don't know, mate. I'm thinking about maybe racing them next year.
Nice.
Depends. It all depends. So,
is there more in the background than we know?
No, not really. I mean, it all depends. I mean, I'm racing dirt bikes. That's my job, so I need to make money doing it. At the moment, I'm making money to race GNCC, not National Enduro and GNCC.
Right.
So anyone who's smart enough knows what I'm talking about. If I race 2 series, I feel like I'm worth more money. Even though it's based only off that one result, I feel, being my first National Enduro, I feel I'm going to get better at them. So I mean, and I had fun doing them. If I didn't have fun on the weekend, I probably wouldn't be thinking about doing them. But I had a blast. The different format was real fun, and I just had a good time. So maybe I'll race them next year. We'll see if we can work it all out. And I know the schedules, like they have one in Texas, and
yep.
I think one in Oklahoma, and another one somewhere way off in distance.
They did a Colorado this year and stuff. So.
Yeah. So that's as far as travel goes. Like that's something I'd have to work out whether I'd sign so I could fly to them, because I mean I'm not gonna be able to drive to those and then be back for a GNCC the following weekend or something like that. So
yeah, because a lot of that travel will take it out of you too, I would imagine.
Yeah.
When you're not trying to race and travel and all that stuff, and then come back and get prepared all over again, that it could flush to you mentally and physically.
Yep, I remember that.
So you said that there's other enduros and stuff like that too. I wanted to know. Let's see. I put that you got 7th, 2nd, 5th, 2nd, 6th, and then 1st. I wanted to know if you thought that seemed inconsistent. Coming kind of in the top 10 to then top 5th, or within the top 5, top 7, 6th again, and then back all the way to 1st, getting the win, or if maybe that's just kind of. You were going out there having fun and riding as fast as you could without really thinking about it, and that's just kind of how it wound up.
Well, I think the first test, it was a brand new bike, so we hadn't we'd put everything on that we're going to race with next weekend, but like we hadn't. I think we changed the oil and we never bled the brakes or anything, so it came with stock fluid. So the first test I boiled the brakes, probably halfway through the test. So there was parts of that test where I didn't have any rear brake. And I feel that, so the first test, I feel I lost, I don't know, may not be much time, but I feel I lost some time without brakes. So,
right. Oh, yeah, I would think so.
So there was that test. The second test was good. And what was it? There was a third.
Yeah, you got 7th, 2nd, 5th, 2nd, 6th, and then 1st.
Yeah, I think the 5th and the second one, those tests were a little tighter than the rest of them. And I mean, that's where I knew I'd struggle before I even started the race, was the tighter stuff that didn't flow as well. So, and the other couple where I did decent, the tests were fun. They just flowy and longer. They had some tight stuff, but not a ton. So I don't know. I mean, it's good. And then the last one was at Big Buck, so I've raced there for 7 years.
Right.
So we didn't run all the trail, but we ran some of the trail, and you can remember where the track goes. Like, so I mean, for me, I remembered some of the stuff, and the last, I don't know, it might have been the last mile was super tight, probably the tightest all day. So to win that last test for me was good, especially by that margin. I was happy about that. But
yeah, because that was you did that last one by a good 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, I think it was something close to that. So I mean, it was a decent amount, but I feel that the first half of the track, or whatever, first 3/4 of the track, where it was parts of the GNCC track, I felt comfortable riding on it. So
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that though. The fact that that I knew it was Big Buck, but it's like for some reason it didn't even come to mind that you guys have ridden there for so long. So a lot of these GNCC guys, you guys would probably have a lot of memory in the trail there. Yeah.
So, but I mean, like I said, we rode some of it was the track that we've raced on, and parts of it that you'd remember the track and you'd be going fast. You're like, it goes down here, turns right, and then where you think it turns right, they've turned left and go off into the bush. So there's that. Like there was a couple of turns where I almost blew because I knew the track went this way, but the track we were racing went the other way. So,
right.
So I mean, I don't know. It was fun. There's parts where I feel like I could do better, but being the first race, I think it was pretty solid.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome result. I'm so glad to see not just yourself out there, but other guys like Caleb Ramsey, Paul Whibley, Jordan Ashburn. I think it's cool, that you guys are going to come out to these events because they're close, opposed to be like, well, I'm a GNCC racer, even though it's so close, you know what I mean? One, just thanks that you went, because it's cool to see you support series that I'm also involved in and would like to just see you get a little bit bigger. Speaking of that,
I wish. Go
ahead.
Oh, I wish I could find out if the rest of them are that tight or not as tight or not as fun. For some reason I just don't feel they're all that fun, because I had an absolute blast, and I don't know whether they're all that fun or they're all not that tight. And I don't know, some of the guys reckon that was some of the tightest stuff that they have. So I really don't know, but I had a good time.
You know what you could do? Luckily, Zach Huberty from Innovation Off-Road has been doing a really good job on his National Enduro coverage, and he's done a preview kind of post, if you will, about every National Enduro that's come up. And I bet you, I've read most of them, but just off memory, I can't remember exactly what was said. And I know that he's talked a good bit about the terrain. So it may probably at least give you an idea of, is it going to be a bunch of tight crap? Is it going to be super loose rock? Is it going to be so much elevation that just sounds horrible? So I don't know, that might be at least a place for you to kind of spend 30, 45 minutes getting an idea if you think you'd want to try to do more of them, for what people say about the terrain.
Yeah, I think the next one's in Indiana, and I think I raced that one a couple years back, and it was, if that's the same track, it was pretty fun. It wasn't that tight out, I remember. I did drown my bike out in a creek.
Oh, well, that's
but I mean, you wouldn't do that, so don't worry about that.
It's because of your
I heard that Indiana one was fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wanted to know, you were on row in the 40s, 42. You were in the 40s.
42.
And we had other riders in the 20s, and it kind of looked like first place was in the 20s, second place was in the 40s, third place was in the 20s, fourth place was in the 40s. There's been a lot of discussion on what is the better, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. What's the best place for the pros to ride that seems to be the most fair in track conditions? Because things can change so much with 5 riders per row every minute, and somebody from on row 21 versus 29 or even later in the 30s. Having done this enduro and being in 42, coming in second, what do you think about that? Do you think that you had a better trail, a different trail? Do you have any opinion? What do you think?
I don't know, because I've never started from row 20.
Right.
So it's hard for me to say. The track wasn't beat up when I got to it. So whether it was better when the first riders went off or not, I'm not sure. But I'm sure if it was a super muddy race, maybe starting at the 20s would be better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd have to start at row 20 to find that out, I guess.
Right. All right. One more question before we let you go. Of course, because we care. And we want you to spend time with your parents. It's very important. We had another question from
I don't. It's all right.
He's like, shut up, Dad. So how different was your pace at this National Enduro, obviously during the test, versus your pace at a GNCC? This is from a question in the chat room.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a difficult question because the tests are it's a different format of racing. You can't really compare GNCC pace to National Enduro or 6-day or 4-day or sprint pace or whatever you want to do it.
Right.
It's all different. Like you go to a 6-day, 4-day, or the new full gas sprint Enduro. They're short tests, so you're 110%, and the tracks are as wide as a motocross. Well, you've seen a 6-day test, right?
Yep.
So you go as fast as you can for 10 minutes. The National Enduro the tracks are the same length as a GNCC course, but they're tight. like some of them don't flow. Like they're not. You can't go fast like a GNCC course where it's motocrossed out, bumps, ruts, berms, and all that sort of stuff. So with the enduro format on the weekend, I found myself you had to go fast, but you had to be more precise. Like you couldn't make mistakes. Like otherwise you'd be clipping trees and crashes, or like overshooting turns if you're trying too hard. So I feel the National Enduro pace on the weekend, you probably I don't know, maybe backed it down a little, like go slower to go faster.
Right.
And then a GNCC is I'd say more consistent pace. I don't know. That's a tough question.
So far that's the best answer I think we've ever gotten to that. We've never asked it in that specific way before, but I think that was probably one of the better answers because the more precise factor of it is one of those things I think that you kind of need to go, clock it down just a little bit so you're putting your wheel or your bark buster in that right spot, so then you're going through the section opposed to like trying to fix a mistake.
Yeah, like if you like an enduro, so forget the GNCC and it's National Enduro versus 6-day enduro. The National Enduro tests are so long that I don't even know how long they were like wearing me out. They were that long. So the more mistakes you make, the cost more time you're gonna like waste doing that test. I think where a 6-day one you just hang off the back, and if you make a mistake, then you make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a different format. I don't think National Enduro would help you for 6-day sprint speed anyway.
That's interesting, actually. All right. Well, we're going to take that to the bank and think on it because it's actually quite interesting. I like your opinions on that. I may actually ask you some more stuff via text tomorrow just to keep the thoughts moving. Aren't they all that long, Josh? I mean, we get like these random... How do you do this? You get into the chat room and you're like, look, I'm just going to type random thoughts that don't make any connections to anything.
What did they say?
They aren't all that long.
They aren't all that long, Josh. Oh, it's a statement. There we go. Not a question.
Oh.
I guess he's saying that
that's what she said.
that the Enduro... Oh. You could say it. Say it.
I already did.
Oh, okay. That's what she said.
Moment's gone.
They aren't all that long, Josh. I guess the statement in the fact that the National Enduros aren't all as long as the one you did?
I guess.
So I'm gonna.
I don't know because I've never done it.
I don't know. So third, GNCC points. Charlie Mullins is not coming back yet. At some point, you're probably 15 to 20 points behind him. Are you going to be able to make that up at Unadilla? To get in a second?
I'd like to hope so. I don't know what the point difference is, but hopefully I can make it up.
Okay.
If I can't, we've had a bad weekend, so.
Yeah, well, you just had a good weekend, so hey,
yeah.
let's
last
keep it
year
going.
Unadilla was good. Last year Unadilla was good to me, so I like that place. The weather looks decent. Last I checked, so hopefully Caleb and I can put on a show.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to
It'd
that.
be cool. I mean, like Caleb's riding awesome this year, so I mean, if him and I could battle like we did last year, to the last corner, last lap or whatever, I mean, it'd be cool to just for GNCC, with Charlie out and Caleb riding well, it's been somewhat boring for people who are interested in racing. So, I mean, that's partly my fault. Dropped the ball, I guess. But hopefully for GNCC and myself, I can mix it up and we can have a battle this weekend.
Right on. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks again for coming on the show, Jordon. Before we let him go hang out with his parents, do you have any more questions?
I don't think so.
You want to be on the Josh Strang team when you come back to pro racing?
Yes. Can you make that happen?
Send a resume.
You're gonna have to start thinking about growing your team. When you got spots getting ready to be filled already, you don't even have them yet, Josh.
I'm working on push-ups, so I'll be fit.
All right, we're gonna do it. We shot some cool stuff while we were at Endurocross, and the question is, if Jordon Bailey were to do push-ups, how many do you think she could do straight, like one go?
Make sure you see how noodly my arms are.
Little.
Not 114.
Are you asking me?
Yeah. How many do you think?
30.
30.
That's a good number.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think you could do 30. All right. Well, Josh, before
who's said the most?
Okay.
Is 114 the highest?
Yeah, 114.
114.
We had when we were at the Endurocross, Ty Tremaine, his number is 114, and he's sitting next to his bike, and he goes, Jordon, boom, boom, and taps his number plate. He goes, 114, and I was just like, really? I was like, holy shit! I was like, there's nobody I know that could do that. I was like, come on. So, Jordon, good luck. 30.
Yeah, 30.
Let's shoot for 30.
Shoot for 30. That is reasonable.
Well, before we let you go, Mr. Strang, any last words or thoughts for us?
No. I don't know. Maybe you might have to get me on when the season's over, and I can have an adult beverage with you, and we can have another chat.
A proper pint.
Yeah.
And we could get some truths to the.
Well, I don't know what a pint even looks like, but yeah, sure, we could have a pint.
Done. I dig it. Well, good luck this weekend, man. I hope you guys, if nothing else, have fun. Have a great weekend of racing. I think that's the number one goal. And as always, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Well, you have fun with your parents and tell them I said hi.
Will do.
Later.
Cheers.
Awesome, Mr. Josh Strang. Such a cool dude. We had a lot of fun hanging out with him in 2012 when I got to go to the ISDE in Germany. Oh, my gosh. Dude, because Jason Hooper, who I was out there with Digital Off-Road, he's great friends, really good friends with Josh Strang. But he knew the Australian team really well, so we were going out to dinner with him and everything. Like, the stories, it's so much fun. And then the after party, I've always heard stories about the ISDE after parties.
Oh, that's all I've heard is stories too.
Oh man, I came home with missing the shirt I was there in, but I had another shirt, and it was like, you know how here we go by like small, medium, large, like our shirt structure, like our shirt size structure. We're over there. They're still in Europe. They're still like a 40 or a 38.
Oh, a number system.
A number system. And I came home with this ridiculously tiny button-up shirt, and I'm like, but it's not a ladies, it's a guy's shirt. Sure? So I'm like, no. It's a cut. You know what I mean?
Okay,
you could just tell it wasn't a woman's cut. It didn't make my hips look fat, so I know it wasn't a lady's shirt. All right. But yeah, that's how I woke up in that.
You woke up in
with
that?
pants on. I woke up with pants on. But I think it was Daniel Milner on one side of the bed and Mitch Harper on the other side. So, and it's like little old American me just hanging out here. Don't
mind me.
It's the whatever it is, the day. I think it's a Sunday, and I'm like, oh crap, I need to get back to my hotel because Hooper's ready to go to the airport, all that stuff. And I'm like, where am I? I'm wherever the Australian team is staying. So I go to the front desk, the lady that barely speaks any English, and I'm like, I need to get a cab. And she goes, where do you need to get a cab to? Essentially, that's what she said. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's over.
Do you know the American team?
By this stuff, over here. And so she's like, well, wait, I don't know if we can get you a cab. And I go, what? She's like, oh, it's Sunday. They're not, and they're not really going to work. They might work today, and if they do, they won't start working until after lunch. And I was like, that's not really going to work. I was like, we're going to figure something out. She goes, well, if you offer them more. I was like, yes, I will pay them. I need to get there.
Did she just scam you? They really
I don't
do
know.
Work Sundays.
Whatever. I got there, and I had a hangover all day, and Josh Strang and I just slept because it was a bad day to have a hangover.
Yeah, I actually
It was
heard,
a great party. But.
So Cooper went to the 6 days in 2007,
Mm-hmm.
and he skipped the after party because he was too tired. He fell asleep. But his dad went, and he came back with stories of, sorry, Josh, of Josh jumping around like a kangaroo during the after party because he's from Australia, and that's just been
that's why he does it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's reason enough.
Yeah. So I've heard some good stuff.
Yeah. Well, man, you know what that means? We need to go back to 6 days, and we can just get some more stories. Well, what we do is, because you don't drink, you can just have a camera the whole time
I'll just
and
video everybody.
me being
I'll
an idiot.
remind y'all how stupid you were the night before.
I love it. Yeah. That's such a good idea.
Done.
All right, you guys find us some sponsors, and we'll make this happen.
Yep.
Speaking of sponsors, guys over at Fly Racing. So if you go to flyracing.com, you can check out some cool-ass gear. All their 2015 stuff is out and available for purchase at all of your local dealerships. If you did not see it yet, obviously go to the website. It was released at Redbud this year. Trey Kennard, Andrew Short, and all of their sponsored riders have been wearing it. Looking mighty fly in it, if you will, I would say. And have you gotten any of the 2015 yet?
No. I don't ride enough. I did ride this past weekend.
I know.
And I'm still sore.
Oh, my gosh. It's going to be crazy. So, thank you to Fly Racing for their support. And speaking of riding this past weekend, our good buddy Mark Weeks is putting on, was it called the River Run?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
That's what I want to call it. I'm going to call it the River. We'll just call it that. We'll make it up. The River Run. It's going to be a TCCRA event this weekend. It's in Terrell, Oklahoma. Terral, Oklahoma. I can say this. If you enjoy sand, you're going to love this place.
Track is awesome.
The layout's great. There's tons of flow, but geez Louise, there's a lot of sand.
If you got noodle arms, you get ready.
Do your push-ups.
Do your push-ups.
Now and stretch, because holy crap, my gosh, it's going to be
epic.
And the heat. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a small chance of rain, and we're still holding out. Because if
it won't be enough.
It won't be enough. Yeah, it's gonna be enough.
Track's
gonna be awesome.
Yeah, go check it out.
The track really is a blast, though. We rode it this past weekend. You rode.
I rode a lap and a half.
A lap and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my bike died.
Yep.
Just shit the bed. Right there. In the middle of the river.
In the hottest, sandiest,
most far away spot
section
from the damn truck. Yeah.
And I still apologize for being a douche and just riding right by you.
I know. I was like, man, they didn't even check on me.
I thought he was just taking a break.
Why would I take a break in the sandiest, warmest spot?
That was my question.
At that point.
I come out of that section and I stop under a shade tree. Cooper stops and we're like, what is he doing over there? There's shade up over here.
I'm trying to figure out why my bike won't start. Turns out it's most likely the stator. I don't have a voltage tester to see, like, to test the ohms and all that kinds of crap. But having undone a lot of that stuff, I really think that that's what it's going to be. So because I'm going out of town on Thursday, we'll talk about this in a second too. Because I'm going to go out of town on Thursday, I'm actually just going to bring it to Brian's Story tomorrow and be like, listen, just if you could, figure it out, give me a good price, and while I'm out of town. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. on Thursday through Sunday. I have no clue if we have any listeners up there, but obviously if for some strange reason on Friday in the daytime, the morning, through about 1 p.m., I will be at the Arlington National Cemetery. We'll be burying my grandmother. But other than that, and this isn't a sad trip, she's been sick for a long time, so I mean this is the best, that this situation, these years of struggle and pain that she's had to go through. We know that she's in a much safer, healthier place now. So, but I'll be up there, up north in Washington, D.C. If anybody wanted to hang out, you guys know how to get in touch with me. I think that would be cool. I'd love to meet more Seat Time fans, or even just people that want to, have a drink or two in the evening. Meet my wife. She does exist. She's a beautiful lady, and we'll have our oldest with us. The youngest are going to be staying with the grandparents. So it's kind of tough to travel with 5 people on airplanes.
Yeah.
And an infant. Good Lord.
And they were telling me about the terrible twos of their 2-year-old right now.
Liam is just going batshit crazy right now. So I wanted to kind of take a chance. We were trying to get Jason Wygant to come on because he loves to talk off-road. He just doesn't get a chance to do it that often. But unfortunately, he has fantasy football draft this evening. So that's awesome for him, I guess. And, of course, his baby's about to be due. So he blew us off. Yeah, so he said no. But that's okay. We're educated people who like to talk dirt bikes, and we're just going to do our best and see what happens. So
at the very least, we like to talk dirt bikes. So.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. So GNCC, kind of the post-summer break coming into Unadilla this coming weekend. Have you ever had a chance to race at Unadilla?
Yes.
And your opinion, Jordon Bailey, tell me about Unadilla.
That was actually my favorite my favorite track.
My favorite is this.
I said we weren't 100% educated, some of us. One of us might be. But my favorite track that I raced GNCC is close with Crawfordsville, but definitely loved Unadilla. It was awesome.
All right.
I don't know. A lot of people don't have that same feeling about it, but
No?
I liked it.
Yeah. Well, maybe I would have that same feeling one day if I ever got a chance to race there. So. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's all. I just
Yeah.
wanted some confirmation. I was like,
Sorry.
no?
No.
Left me out on a limb there. So our top 10 overall, not just XC1, but overall coming into Unadilla, obviously Caleb Russell in first, Charlie Mullins still in second. Looks like he's going to be coming back soon, probably back on the bike next week riding, starting to test and stuff. But
So I wonder what that means he's going to be back racing.
I don't know. That we will talk about that. Let's chat. Third, Josh Strang, who we just talked to. Jordan Ashburn in fourth, which I'm really impressed with. He's done a really good job this year staying in the top five. Grant Baylor, the younger Baylor brother. Paul Wibley, Andrew DeLong, Ricky Russell, Stuart Baylor Jr., and then Chris Bach. Whew. So let's see that. So Caleb Russell been on a roll. I mean, just a terror. Doing so good. Once him and Charlie Mullins were going back and forth. Once Mullins got injured, it was kind of Caleb's
Russell show.
Yeah, he really is just kicking out. I mean, Strang put it pretty good when he was talking about the fact that they made it a little boring.
Yeah,
he's just out there kicking ass. I mean, not boring as in Russell's not a good rider, because obviously he's a great rider kicking
butt. But he's just winning too much.
Yeah, he's like
winning
down.
by too much.
Let's catch up. You know, just maybe give us a chance. Just give us the thought of a chance.
Yeah,
how about that?
He's like, nah.
So Charlie Mullins still in second place, but that's a great question. How long is that going to last? When is he going to come back? I texted him earlier this morning. He said he's supposed to start riding next week. But what does that really mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I mean, he's been rehabbing, obviously. So I mean, I'd imagine that he kind of has an idea of how poor of shape or how good a shape his wrists are in,
right?
And how supportive they can be and how strong. But I mean, when it comes to riding, that we know that's such a different animal from recovering, from rehab.
And even just if he gets back on the bike, that's so much different than race pace and race shape.
I would think minimum 6 weeks.
I don't know.
So,
I think that I don't know. Is he going to try to try to stay in the top 3 and get back on? And
that would be pretty impressive
if
he could. I mean, he got kind of lucky that it happened so close to the break.
Yeah.
But still, so it'll be interesting. I really hope that he makes a comeback before 6 days, because if 6 days is kind of his first race back, I mean, that'd be tough.
Yeah. 6 days without racing.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of miles in one day.
I don't want to think about doing that.
Done thinking about that. Caleb Russell, one thing we didn't talk about him is how awesome of a job he's done over the summer break. He did the TKO. He then did the Enduro Cross there in Atlanta, and then the National Enduro this past weekend. Actually won the first test, and he was again another rider on the 40s. So I wonder if here's the thought: the guys that are better XC1 GNCC racers who did really well this past weekend, are they better and more suited for the more beat up kind of rough trail? So they're in the 40s, where the Enduro guys being in the 20s, it's kind of like more typical for them.
Yeah, kind of more what they're used to, but. Yeah.
Grant Baylor's a great XC2 racer. I mean, he's
That's
what 6th right now?
And he starts in the 20s.
5th? So, yeah, he was road 23, 20s.
It's kind of like, I feel like sometimes the 20s are disadvantaged compared to a little bit later in the pack, depending on, if it's wet or, that kind of stuff. It plays different roles on if it's better or worse up more near the front.
Again, reading around on different websites, it was great to see the fact that there's coverage. Innovation Off-Road did a great job talking about the fact that one of the big things they're talking about with the pros is if a rider doesn't show up for a row, should they fill it? And the big thing was absolutely. because that one less rider really does make a big difference in how many people they're either passing or how many people they're riding behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if, say, somebody doesn't show up and they're supposed to be on row 27, then whoever's on 28 should just get bumped up. Or they should fill that, and so I think that was the discussion is, should they leave it empty? Should they fill somebody? Should they bump everybody? And then again, there was a big discussion on whether all the pro riders, instead of being on the 20s, if they should be in the 30s. Is the trail more consistently formed at that point to be a little bit easier to follow? So it's interesting, and I'm glad to see that they're making those changes. Now that I understand why they're making these changes a little bit better, they're trying to make the trail more consistent for the pros, so that makes the series a little bit, more fair.
Yeah.
Level playing field
For the ones that are
the cliche they use.
racing for money, I think they need the most.
Yeah. Hopefully
fair.
they can one day race for more money.
Yes, I hope so.
Opposed to like $200.
Yeah.
Like.
At least cover their travel.
Yeah, so we talked about Josh Strang. Josh Strang did really well at the 4-day. It's cool that he got a 2015.
Yeah.
It's like, hey guys, I'm gonna come. Can I get a bike? Sure. He's like,
Here's a
oh, I
brand
clapped
new
out
one.
2012. That'll work. Sure. And they're like, nope. Here's a brand new 2015 out of the crate for you, ready to go. And then you're gonna have that for 6 days as well.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's like high five. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Jordan Ashburn, we saw him at the TKO. Unfortunately, he was very upset with his performance there.
Yeah, I heard he had some trouble on a hill.
Yeah, the hill.
The hill.
And it wasn't. And what's funny is it wasn't even the hill. It was after the waterfall.
Yeah.
But it was right when the rain started coming down. So it was that section where they got so much water so quick on that dry kind of clay that it just gooped up and turned into goose snot. And from what we were hearing is that he had just had the wrong tire on.
Yeah.
So once it started to gook up, his tire just got caked and couldn't shed off any of the mud. And so literally, we saw him just trying to get up the hill, and his bike would just go zzz, like
that
his
is so
450 just pinned. You could actually see it like start to just go side to side, not even moving forward.
Oh gosh.
So
that's a
but
bummer.
Paul Whibley and Ricky Russell got up with helping each other,
Yeah.
and they were gonna help Ashburn,
But
he just couldn't even get to the point where they could help him.
Yeah, but he had an awesome showing at the Atlanta Enduro Cross.
Yes.
Barely missing the main when he broke his chain, but he was in the top 2 in the LCQ, going to make it to the main on the last lap, and he broke his chain.
Oh, that's right. That's when
that was
happened.
such a
right
bummer.
before the fire pit coming out of that rock pile.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I think that's where we got in trouble from a lot of people when we were trouble at 20. So then
that's what I thought.
Grant's like 17 or 18.
Golly.
So, and Grant Baylor does not think CrossFit is good for dirt bike riders.
Really?
Yeah. He had
Interesting.
he tried to debate that with me. That's fine. That's okay. I'll make fun of him later. Paul Whibley. Paul Whibley, I don't think having the year that he expected.
No. After his injury.
Groin surgery?
Mhm.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
I called it a lot of things last year and got kind of in trouble for saying that, so I'm not going to say it again.
I think it was that area.
Oh, no, I think it was definitely, if you guys could see what I'm doing right now, you would know where it was for sure, because I don't have pants on. Jordan, actually, there's a shield here. She can't actually see to the left.
I'm not sure why you keep doing your show without your pants on.
I figured one time, just once, you would wear pants, but no. We're always a pantless show. This is so interesting. I had to check the chat room. See if he locks up the championship. He's riding 150. Yes, that's gonna be awesome.
Wait.
I think we should talk about that. So, do you know about this?
No.
Caleb Russell has a fully built factory KTM 150. So technically a 144. And if he wraps up the championship early, he will race
The 150.
on that 150.
That'll be sick.
And then he's going to sell raffle tickets for a chance for people to buy it. And
how cool.
half of that money is going to go to ISDE, and maybe the other half is going to go to his personal fund of bank, Caleb Russell Bank.
The Caleb Russell Bank of Funds.
I want to say there was this and that. I don't know. We could check Instagram.
So let's put a
So I'm gonna.
star next
He
to
said
that
the
one,
raffle
'cause we're
tickets are
not
gonna be
sure.
$25 a piece.
Okay.
I'm buying 4 for $100 at a chance at that bike. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's been ragged out by Caleb Russell. I will never put that
just
bike
one
for
race.
a fourth of that.
Yeah.
So, well, who knows? I mean, honestly, if
Okay,
Strang were to have an off race at Unadilla, he could get enough points that nobody would be able to
could
get him. So,
Wow, that'll be cool to see.
but again, if Caleb Russell doesn't have an off race.
Right. Anything can happen.
It is racing, folks. So Paul Whibley. So I've heard, though, that at some point in time, whenever his career is over, that he will head back to New Zealand.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you would think so?
Him and his wife are both from there, so I'm sure that they're planning to go home to their families.
That'll be interesting. That'll suck. Paul Whibley's been over here for a long time, racing, kicking butt and stuff.
Now that he's got a kid, I wonder like where that fits on the timeline, when kind of where his mind is on when he's done.
That'd
be interesting. And when that does happen, that'd be interesting to see, because that opens up a big spot on the Impro team. I don't know. Silly season stuff's fun.
Big spot.
Yeah.
Big spot. No, that's gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. So Andrew DeLong is after Paul Whibley in 7th. Yeah, 7th. I think we should see something spectacular from Andrew DeLong this weekend in the XC1 class at Unadilla. He's won 2012 and 2013 in the XC2 class at Unadilla. He just came off, even though not just, the last GNCC for snowshoe. He was his first XC1 podium in 3rd. And with Andrew DeLong, I think if he could keep that momentum going, and he did really well at the past couple National Enduros. He's gotten a win in there. He was on the podium this weekend. I think there's a chance that if Strang rides like he wants to against Caleb Russell, I think there's a chance that Andrew DeLong could be up there with him.
Yeah.
He's just gotten more.
He's got
tight
fire
with
under
that
him right
husky.
now. Yeah.
Just getting in there, wants to blood in the water, as he likes to put it. So that's what I'm looking for. Ricky Russell in 8th overall. Yes, he is an XC2. We have 2 XC2 riders overall in the top 10. That's pretty cool. Ricky Russell, only East Coast GNCC rider to make it into the final at the Enduro Cross.
At the Enduro Cross, yeah.
He rode his butt off.
Well, yeah. That was cool to see.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
He's been known, Brian Elliott, a good friend of ours and the AmPro team and all that kind of stuff. He even told me, he's like, just watch how tenacious Ricky Russell is. He specifically was telling me this before Big Sky last year. And I was watching while Ricky was leading for a little while there, or at least in the top, that the dude has some tenacity.
Yeah.
And now that he's getting a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, been riding more with Paul Whibley, and you can see that. And so when he gets on a 450 on the XC1 class, the dude's going to be on it.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool to see. So
I'm excited to see these guys move up into the XC1 class.
It's going to be an interesting year next year.
Yeah.
When all these guys kind of graduate and head up there. And then we were talking about Stuart Baylor Jr. in 9th. This I think it's unfortunate for Stuart, because he's had 2 not great years that just have been kind of up and down, really. Yeah. Last year specifically due to a lot of injury. This year had some touch and go stuff with injury, and now specifically with the hand injury. So a broken metacarpal that he had that happened at the TKO apparently broke his front brake lever, and because of that was trying to make it down one of the steep downhills. And just knew, he's like, I'm too fast, I'm not going to make it. And whatever was up ahead of him, he decided, I need to lay the bike over to kind of stop.
Yeah.
Laid the bike over, and when he was doing that, clipped his finger on something, which kind of yanked it all the way back, and that's what broke the bone. So like 6 to 7 screws with a plate. That's why he didn't race, the Enduro Cross, and why he didn't race the National Enduro. Doesn't look like he's going to be racing Unadilla. He's hoping to be back for PA, I believe is what he was saying. So it doesn't sound like it's super serious, but man, it's just like more bad luck for that dude.
Yeah, I know, and his hands too. It's like his poor arms.
Yeah,
hands,
just
wrists.
think his forearms have got to be blown out, because they're the ones got to be making up all the fact that he doesn't have any hand strength.
Right.
His wrists and his hands are just kind of torn up. So I don't know. Let's see. We got which elastomers colors come with the flex bars. Jason Thomas's bike had blue inner and yellow outer. Is that stock? So red and red come stock. They have 4 colors. Blue is the softest, then it's yellow, then red, then black. So it's red. So if he's got blue inner, that means he's got the softest inner and the second softest on the out for rebound. So the blue would be the compression, as it's kind of like how stiff they are when they bend, and then the outer ones are going to be for the rebound. And I kind of run them like that too. I would run them blue and yellow. I just haven't switched them yet. Right now they're yellow and red. But I do want to switch to blue and yellow to test out.
Yeah, I think when we ran flex bars, that's what we ran to, was blue and yellows.
Yeah.
Blues and yellows.
So, and then again,
That worked really well.
the way they have the lock nut, so the nut that actually attaches the handlebar together, if you will, the way you can actually adjust with the tightness on those elastomers. So if you're like, you put the yellow on and you're like, for say the compression, it's just a tad bit too stiff. You go to the blue and you're like, man, it's just a tad bit too soft. Mm-hmm. You can kind of actually adjust a little bit with that lock nut to kind of find your intermediary. But you got to remember, if you start to tighten a little bit more, say on the blue one, that's a super soft one, so that elastomer is probably going to go out a lot quicker if you kind of tighten down on it than say a yellow would if you're having it more at the optimal tightness of the lock nut.
Good information.
So there's some stuff about flex bars, who are a supporter of Seat Time. We definitely appreciate them for that. They're huge supporters. The Enduro Cross, they're on a lot of the bikes there.
Yeah.
GNCCs are starting to see them more. Ryan Sipes is one of their riders, and Jason Thomas. So I ride them now, and I love them. They help out a lot. And considering how bad my shoulder still hurts when I ride, I probably wouldn't be able to ride if at all, if it weren't for that. Because
that's so funny you mentioned that, because riding this weekend, Cooper, I mean, the track this weekend that we rode this past weekend, it's rough. And Cooper's like, his shoulders, he's got issues. He's like, oh, I need my flex bars back on, because we don't have them on currently. And he was pretty bummed he didn't have them on.
So there you go, fastco.com. Go get yourself some flex bars, and if nothing else, reach out to them and ask questions. A lot of people think that we just want to sell stuff. Not really. What we want you to do is get engaged and just go, hey, Fast Company guys, Seat Time was talking about your bars. Just tell me more. Why would I be interested? Because the thing is we can tell you a lot of the stuff that we know from experience, and of course some of the stuff that they tell us about the bars, but the best way to do it is go to the experts, and they are the experts. They've also helped a lot of people out with ergonomics, from what I've heard. So that's really good too, because of the fact that they work with so many people on their flex bars. They know a lot about bike setup, especially when it comes to the cockpit area.
Makes sense.
Cockpit.
He's just waiting to make a joke about that one.
Cockpit. So Stuart Baylor, what does that mean for 2015? Most likely he's not going to have the KTM ride that he has now. So is he going to be factory somewhere? I don't know. Ampros obviously seems like a good fill. Super close to those guys. Probably rides with Randy Hawkins and that crew a lot anyway.
Seems that way.
So does that mean that Grant Baylor may get his spot?
Awkward.
Would that be awkward? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, are they just kind of like brothers enough to where they're just like whatever? Yeah, like cool.
Whatever, bro.
You got the KTM spot this year. They'll fit on all my old bikes. Those parts will just fit on all my old bikes. So
I don't know. I'm sure they're totally cool about it. I mean, they grew up together, and they've got to be.
I think about Big Stu, and he's so laid back and cool and chill about it. Like I don't think he would have I don't think he would make it awkward either. I kind of think even if Stu and Grant maybe did make it awkward, that Stu would come up behind him and slap him on the back of the head and be like, guys,
cut it out.
Shut up. We're racing dirt bikes. Let's do this.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
they're a good family.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. For some reason, I think Craig DeLong's probably going to be the next factory Husky rider. It would be cool to see him and Andrew together on a team. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking that Grant Baylor might be a good snag for Husky to go to the XC1.
If KTM lets him go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would be like if for some reason the deal wasn't good enough.
Right.
If somebody offered more. We were talking about Andrew DeLong. I think he could be on the podium this weekend. I don't know about the wind, because Caleb Russell has just been so dominant. And I know, talking with Caleb Russell, he's very upset with his performance at the TKO, at the Enduro Cross, and at the National Enduro. Very disappointed with his performance. So are we going to see, is there going to be a little bit of blood in the water for him on that? Like, he's just like, I gotta raise my stock back up again, kind of thing. Like, he just feels like, I don't think this is the case, but I think he feels like people are just kind of like, he was good then. But look how bad he's done in these other events. It's no.
I think people got to realize too, which I'm sure it's harder for him to see it, because he's just down on himself. Because we all are our biggest critics, but that's totally different style racing than GNCCs. I mean, like even Josh was saying earlier, GNCCs are so different than those style of things. So it's like you got to give him a little bit of break.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
he's
you
going
can
to rip
tell
the junior season.
how well Caleb Russell did at the TKO, at the Enduro Cross, and at the National Enduro. That with a little bit of specific practice,
Yeah.
that he would be competing in the top 5 easy.
Yeah.
And that's because he's a talented dirt bike racer. So I don't think he has any reason to think that he had poor performances,
Right.
and that people think less of him now as a racer.
Yeah.
I think of people. The way I look at it is I look at him with more value.
Yeah,
because of the
because
fact
he did
that
those cool things.
he's not the guy that's like, oh, I just raced GNCCs or I just waste.
I'm not going to get hurt out at that TKO.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go trash this bike and have a grand old time and
Yeah.
make fun of it. Like, what? So, yeah, Russell. We talked about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nailing it.
That's good. I can't. Anytime you do. Okay, so listen to the Pulp MX show a lot. I really enjoy that show. It's good. And then I listen to DMXS, all that stuff. It's great stuff. The Devin Gibbs, once they got rid of Tits, once he wanted to go to school more and spend a little more time with his family, so he stopped doing the Pulp MX show, but still does the Fly Racing Moto 60 show. They got this other guy in, the producer Devin Gibbs, and every time he's like, "Yeah, how's it going? Killing it." Like he's like killing it. Like he just all he says, or not all, but still, that's what it feels like. And they're like,
No, I'm saying it.
now, and you're just over there saying it. I'm just like, God, we just.
You can't get away from it.
I'm
I'm sorry. I didn't know that guy already had claim to that.
Well, I mean, you're cuter. So, yeah, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. I've never seen him.
Yeah, well, I've listened to him, and I'm just going to say that I think that I'm more attractive.
Fair enough.
Is that egotistical? Is that shitty?
No.
All right.
That's confident.
That's good. Back to dirt bikes. So, Argentina coming up with the ISDE. There's one person that I wanted to talk about, Trevor Bollinger. 10th at the National Enduro this past weekend. He's come to other National Enduros that have been on the East Coast, done really, really well. I would have liked to have seen him out of the National Enduro. I'm sorry, at the Enduro Cross.
Okay.
But I know that that's technical, and I know that he's very privateer right now, so probably parts worried about trashing his bike. Understandable,
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
at Enduro Cross. He has a GoFundMe account that you guys can help him out with his ISDE preparation. It's going to be about $15,000 to $20,000 for those guys to get over there.
On their dime.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I could say he's just had some really bad luck. It doesn't seem like he's gotten much support. People don't want to give him. I don't know if people are just choosing not to give him support. Or what the deal is, but I would say as Seat Time fans, if you guys could go check it out, you can just go search for GoFundMe and Trevor Bollinger, and that'll come up. Or you could go to GoFundMe.com/AX0ONW. There's a lot going on there. I did drop a link in the chat room, and I'll post up more about it tomorrow. I have shared it on Seat Time. We did donate $50. I know that that's not a lot, but it's what we can do, and so we could give what we can to help those guys out. I would love, if it hadn't been for us picking up the Enduro Cross, I was trying to talk with Auntie about really trying to figure out a way that we could raise, a good portion of money. But now that we've got so much other stuff going on in Baja Rally, it's just, I just don't have the time. It's unfortunate, but it's what it is. So if you guys can get out there and help out, we know it'll make things a lot better for everybody else. So GoFundMe.com/AX0ONW. Please go support Trevor Bollinger. He is going to be on the junior team, so our junior team is going to be the Baylor brothers. As of right now, I mean, hopefully, Stewart's injuries.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. Grant's looking great right now. It's going to be awesome. So Trevor Bollinger and Justin Jones. Justin Jones is a West Coast guy. Argentina. This is going to be a West Coast-ish style race, I would think. So I think he's going to be
pretty good.
Maybe the guiding light on that junior trophy team, honestly.
That'll be... I mean, we were kind of talking before the show. That name did not recognize anything to me.
Yeah.
But you told me a lot about stuff that he has done in the West Coast.
He's a works racer and a Baja. He's done Baja 500,
definitely
Baja
fit
1000.
for the team, I think.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
I think if he could take the time to give everybody some tips and tricks, because he was actually out at Taylor Roberts' kind of 2-day ISDE training that they did over in Arizona out of his house. He was out there and kind of with everybody, so it's unfortunate that a lot of the East Coast guys couldn't go, because that would have been great for them to be out there learning with the likes of those. Now the World Trophy team, everybody knows Mike Brown. Mike Brown's an awesome dude, great rider, tons of respect for him. 2014, he is the team captain. And I could say, I don't think I would say I have a problem with that. I just think I would say that seems like a very strange choice. He is not a talkative social person. And I don't see him being an outgoing, enthusiastic person that's going to try to amp people up. I just don't see that in the Mike Brown that I've met and the Mike Brown that's yelled at me on Twitter.
I think he's more of like a
sensitive grandfather?
Yeah. Like he's going to be like, all right, guys, this is what we need to do. And be like kind of more serious, which, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying, but I think they gave it to him because of he's older than the rest of the guys.
Seniority,
I mean, a little bit more mature. He's done them so many times. He's done so much that he's kind of got the mentality and probably knows how to talk to the riders to get them in the right mindset.
Right.
Maybe not so much amp them up. That might, be Taylor Roberts' job.
Yeah. I personally think that Taylor Roberts would have been a better choice for team captain. But obviously not my decision. People that know more than me that do into this kind of stuff are the ones that pick this. And I'm just kind of going off of what I've seen. And then talking with some other people, too, that are on the teams, on some of the club teams that have been a lot and have kind of interacted with Mike and interacted with a lot of the other a lot of the other racers.
Yeah.
So I think Taylor Robert is probably our best chance for an overall win. I really do think that that's what he wants this year.
I don't see why he couldn't get it.
And he's going to be on that 500.
Good luck.
I could feel your fear.
Oh my gosh!
Like with your face, I could feel your fear. I think that's gonna be awesome, and that's the bike that he won the OMA in Sturgis on.
Oh, sick!
Where people tried to crash a Harley on the show, which was awesome. Steven, you remember that? Oh, yeah. That was a good time. That was awesome. Charlie Mullins, how's he gonna hold up?
Yeah, back to what we're saying. Hopefully that won't be his first race back.
I know.
But if it is, I guess he'll be.
It seems like there's time.
For it.
2 months. But I have no idea. I've never had the injuries and the surgeries and stuff that he's had to have.
Me neither.
So how is he going to kind of recover once he starts riding and things go from there?
Yeah.
Zach Osborne and Thad Duvall. What bike is Zach Osborne going to be on? October 1st. I have texted him so many times. October 1st is when he gets to announce the new team that he's on.
Okay.
For 2015. And the rumor is that it is a brand that is going to be more okay with him doing some of the off-road stuff that he does.
Awesome.
Makes me think KTM or Husky.
Yeah.
And since Husqvarna is new and they probably need a 250 rider, it's going to be Zach Osborne and Davalos on the Rockstar Husky team with Jason Anderson being their 450 rider. So then that means that he would be a Husky rider for like the ISTE and some of the other kind of off GNCC events and stuff like that. He did tell me that he is not going to be able to do any more than he has done in the past.
Ah, booger.
So it's not like just because he's going to be riding for a team that does support more off-road
half
stuff.
off-road. He's just same.
It's just that I think this sets him up for an awesome transition. Because just think if he can say it's Husky, we'll go with Husky. Say he rides for Husky on 250s, gets to stay on a 450 with them, and then can transition into an off-road career after that and be the next Mike Brown.
Yep.
20 more years of racing off-road. I think that would be
genius.
Pretty spectacular if that works out for him.
Yeah.
But Thad Duvall, he's done really good at past ISDE, at past ISDEs that he's been to. But I don't think he's had the year that he wanted to have this year. So I want to know where his head's at.
Yeah.
Going into this, like, how's he going to be able to do over there?
Yeah, and I follow him on social media and stuff, and hasn't been much talk, it seems like, about ISDE.
Yeah.
I mean, I say kid, he's older than me, I think. He has lots of, they do lots of other activities, fishing and
a lot of
hunting and all that kind of stuff. So
if you follow Instagram, it's like a lot of hunting.
Like Josh was saying, you got to have fun too. So I wonder, where his head is. I mean, I'm sure he's had a refreshing summer break to come back into racing and get serious again.
Yeah.
But that'll be interesting.
I hope that he has the same performances that he has in the past, because the performances he has had in the past have been very helpful in the placements that we have gotten at the ISDE. But I know that they're going for the win this year. I mean, they want that win. Obviously Kirk Caselli really wanted that win last year, and they weren't able to get it, and so that was going to be his goal for this year with working with the team. And now with his passing, I think that they won it 3 times.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
they want to stand up there. They want to raise that trophy up and just straight to the sky.
Yeah.
And just be like, boom, there you go, buddy. It's for you.
It's for you. Aw.
So I know that that's what they want, and I know that they've put a lot of effort and thought into the right team.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
they've
like
got a really strong team.
Yeah, you have to trust that because those guys do know a lot more about this kind of racing and how you choose this. And I have had a chance to talk with Auntie a little bit, and this isn't the end of the growth and the effort that KTM is willing to put into the ISDE effort. It's just that since he's taken over like the past 2 or 3 years, they pretty much had a plan, and it was like, all right, we're going to do X. Now that X is done, we're going to add to it, and then this is going to be the new X for this year. And they're going to do so. Now that they've got 3 years under their belt of this kind of building, we're going to see a lot more support kind of come in, and from what I understand as well, there's going to be the funding is going to be able to be better because they're going to be able to fund the whole team, all team efforts a lot more than they have in the past.
That would be awesome.
So that's the idea anyway, and what they're trying to have happen.
Yeah.
So let's see what's going. I think Thad needs to ride with faster people on a more regular basis. He pulled Lane up close to his speed, but I think he's hurt himself in the process. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would benefit from riding with
I know.
his competitors.
I would benefit from riding with faster people.
Yeah.
Because I'm slow,
You're not slow.
but I'm not fast.
Pretty decent. I don't know. Faster than me, so.
Hey. No, I would completely agree with that. That it's great.
Yeah.
There were times like Cole Kirkpatrick would take me riding, and it was awesome. I mean, I felt like I gained so much knowledge and speed just of a day off of riding with someone that's leaps and bounds better than me.
I think you definitely will, and we've always said, me growing up racing and stuff, Cooper's always pushed me to ride faster classes, and when you're faster than that class, you move up. You go to another fast class. I mean, that's how you learn. That's how you get faster. So, yeah, that's a really good comment that he needs to be riding with.
Yeah. I wonder, though, who would it be? Because does he have – is he a good friend? So he's on a Honda. Will he ride with Chris Bach? I mean, they're not on the same Honda team.
No. I mean, he's friends with, like, the KTM boys. He's friends with Strang, Ashburn, all them. I mean, and the thing is that is fast, wicked fast. He can easily be the fastest guy on the track. He's just got to learn to control it for a whole entire race.
The bad that, what was it?
Yeah.
Bad.
I know, I forget.
Yeah. It's been a while, though. We haven't seen the bad
he's
in a while.
He's really, I think, improved on that. But he can be fast. He's just got to go fast for the whole race.
Go fast for the whole race.
Wreck.
Yeah. Well, that's a good comment.
Yeah, good
Dustin.
comment.
I appreciate you dropping that into the chat room. Well, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and start wrapping her up. If you guys have any other stuff that you want us to discuss, drop it in the chat room while you're there. Jordan, before I kind of go through some of the rigmarole of the house cleaning, if you will, towards the end of the show, what are you up to these days? Tell people how they can find out about you and where they can keep up with you.
You can find me social media at jmil, MIL 98.
MILF?
Nope.
No.
Just an MIL.
Oh.
Leave off that last letter, please. You won't find me there. That's for sure.
It'll be her other friend.
All social media is that away. I've really just been up to school. Getting kind of back into riding a little bit. Had fun riding. We talked about if we do, if we definitely get my butt kicked. My hands are bruised, y'all. If we get to go to another Enduro cross, maybe race an Enduro cross or two, that would be cool.
Denver would be the smart one to do it because you guys could actually drive there and
in
throughout one night. You wouldn't have to
we wouldn't have to miss an exam or something in class and get back for school. So a lot of school mostly, and maybe start riding a little bit here and there.
I think that's a good idea. I'm looking forward to it. The Baja Rally's coming up for me, so that's going to be intense. Be on the lookout for the logo. So we're obviously going to be doing a lot of filming. Our good buddy Brian Vorel from Vorel Designs is working on the logo currently. So excited to see that as it's kind of working through all of its different iterations. And then after that, who knows? Hopefully we get a chance to do more Enduro crosses. And if that's the case, then October and November are booked.
Yep.
And we will see you all come December.
See you Christmas.
It is going to be crazy intense, man.
That schedule is insane.
Yeah, and I think somebody said they went from 8 events to 12 next year.
Woo. Maybe some more on the East Coast? I don't know.
I'll have to see this. I don't know if that means the schedule's been released or people are just talking about what they heard or all that kinds of stuff. But yeah, I guess we could do a little bit more research now that we know people
Yeah.
at Enduro Cross. We could find some stuff out. I don't know. Well, cool. So Seat Time, you can find us at seattime.co. That is the website. That is where all the shows are archived. We put up all the press releases, and sometimes we put up some fun pictures and stuff like that too. Of course, that's a good place to check. If not, facebook.com/seattime. That's where we get super social. Lots of posting that goes on there. Of course, pictures is random stuff there. twitter.com/seattime_co. Change it up a little bit there with that underscore, but I know you guys can figure it out. That's the good place. That's where we get to banter back and forth with you all. No holds barred. And just take a couple random pictures. Maybe feel like it's Snapchat, do something dirty. Who knows? It's Twitter, man.
You did your first Snapchat at the Enduro Cross.
I did, and we didn't even get one back.
Nope.
What is that called? Like, what happens when does somebody snap you back?
You get a snap back, but we did not get a snap back.
Is that anything like a snapback hat?
No. Unless we were wearing a snapback hat, which we were not.
You would be snapback while snapback?
Snapbacked in a snapback hat.
Did we just create something new? Is that a thing?
That's a
Can
thing.
it be a thing?
Start sending us your snaps and your snapback hats.
You're going to get some weird pictures of J Milled.
Not me.
J Mill 87. What is it?
98.
J Mill 98. I don't know.
He doesn't even care.
You born in 98?
No, that's my number.
I know. But
You don't know.
It just makes me.
No, I'm not born in 98. Good grief. I just caught that. 92.
This is awesome. I'm 22.
Stop feeling 22.
I'll be 22 again. No, I don't want to go back to those times. Those were bad times. Of course, we are on Instagram, so you can find us there. Seat Time. That's a good spot, actually, because now that we've been out and about a little bit more, we've been doing some more pictures of different riders, fun videos from the broadcast that we've been doing. So a lot of fun there for sure. Of course, if you guys haven't realized, we do have some great supporters of Seat Time. So if you're like, man, my suspension sucks, I need to get it worked on, Stillwell Performance. So you can go search for Alan Stillwell's commentary on his 4CS, what they've been doing with the 4CS forks that come on the KTMs and the Husqvarnas. Awesome work that those guys offer there. And they've done work on my bikes. They make their own pistons. And they do a lot of their own valving and stuff. And I don't know the magic. Believe me, that is not my realm. But you can go back to the episode where we have Ask Alan Anything. That's the title of it. And he goes on, and believe me, that will sell you on it. I cannot do what he says justice. But StillwellPerformance.com, best thing to do, shoot them an email, call them up, tell them you heard about them on Seat Time, and you want to know more. And that's your in right there. After that, they're going to take care of you and do everything that's going to make you have better suspension. So, it looks like works at Glen Helen. So here we go. Taylor Roberts is going to be doing works at Glen Helen. Then he's going to do Sea to Sky in Turkey. And the Sea to Sky, I believe that's a Red Bull event.
Sweet.
So I don't know if that is prior to Denver Enduro Cross.
Well, they do have like a month break because it's not till October. So.
Yeah, October 4th. So yeah, that could be all going on then. So works at Glen Helen. And then a Sea to Sky in Turkey. A Sea to Sky is always cool. I like the video, like the archives they do after that. Yeah, it's really neat.
I need to check that out.
It's literally one of those, like, you start at the beach and you run to your bike, and where you finish is at the top of a mountain.
Oh, sick.
So it's literally like Sea to Sky.
Yeah. Genius. Marketing
People
right
are
there.
smarter than us, and I'm okay with it. Yay! Man, what else? Oh, Snowshoe. I think Snowshoe is going to be my Arrive and Ride experience.
Next year?
KR4performance.com. Check them out. Arrive and Ride program, Snowshoe. Because what I think is going to happen is my dad just bought a motorhome. I mean, like, literally, it came home today. 2015 Thor Outlaw C-Class. So it's the 29-footer. It's got the garage. It's got, like, a slide out and everything in it. And so I think we're going to talk about doing that, like driving up there for that event and then kind of pitting with those guys and everything. So that could be, because that's the event I want to do. I've talked about it a million times about being there in the past and stuff.
If you like to be beat up, that is a great race.
Well, I mean, I hang out with you enough. Such a violent person. She's always like, shut up. I know. It's
These noodle arms can punch really hard.
Uh-oh.
What? Yeah, you did. I caught that.
Oh, did I say Caleb Ramsey?
Yeah, instead of Caleb Russell.
Yeah.
That's okay. You said it fast enough. I mean, we've said
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah,
We
we've
said
said
worse
way
live.
worse apparently live. So go us.
And we mispronounce a lot more names.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts how mean people can be when you make little mistakes like saying Tara instead of Tara.
Tara. I'm
and
sorry.
Colton Hacker instead of Haker. I mean, it's as if you murdered somebody's firstborn child. How mean
They are
people
mean.
get.
They're harsh.
So, suck it, world.
They don't understand a Texas accent that sometimes you just can't pronounce those names correctly.
That's what I'm gonna.
Some
go
of
with, too.
us. Yeah. That's my excuse anyways for my ignorance.
Yeah. All right, episode 140. Jordon Bailey, Brian Pierce. You guys know where to find me if you want to look me up. I'm at Woody B. Pierced everywhere. It's easy enough for all of you guys. Thank you very much for paying attention to Seat Time. Remember, Fly Racing, Stillwell Performance, KR4 Performance with their Arrive and Ride program, and Fast Company, all great supporters of Seat Time, and we would love it if you would go check them out, learn more about them, and tell them that we said hi. We'll be back next Tuesday. What are we going to talk about? GNCC and my trip to Washington, D.C.
So hopefully someone will come hang out with you in Washington, D.C.
Hopefully.
that you can talk about.
Hey, there we go. Let's do that. Make that shit happen. Contact me. Let's hang out in D.C. That's almost awkward.
That is a little creepy, but you don't have a 1-800 number, so you should be okay.
Let's hang out in Washington, D.C. All right. This has been Seat Time. Remember, always enjoy a pint full of awesome, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
See ya.